So we're now going to look at addition using a different concrete manipulative. We're now going to use our place value counters, and we're going to be adding a 3-digit number to a 3-digit number. And we're now going to have our hundreds, tens and ones. So first off, we're going to start with 243. So I've got 100, 200, and now I need my 4 tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, and my 3 ones. 1, 2, 3. And you can encourage the children to write the numbers on the counters if they haven't already got them on there. So that will be easier for them to recognise where the ones, the tens and the hundreds are when they are adding them up to work out the answers. Now we're going to add 368. So I'm going to count another 3 hundreds, 100, 200, 300. And now I'm going to add my additional 6 tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And now I'm going to add my 8 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I will encourage the children to count the second amount of numbers, as it will stop any misconceptions with the counters that are already on the place value grid. Now we're going to work out the answer. We need to remember that if there are 10 ones in the ones column, we need to exchange them for a 10. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I know I can remove those counters and exchange for an additional 10. So I've only got 1 left. Now I'm going to check my tens column, and again, if you have 10 tens in the tens column, you need to then exchange it for 100. So I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So I know I have 10, so I now can remove those from the grid and exchange for an additional 100. Now I can work out my answers starting with the hundreds. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 110, 1, and I know that 110 and 1 make 11, so I know that I have 600 and 11. So I will do my 611 to show that is my answer. Once the children are secure with using concrete manipulatives, that is when you will then show them how to use the pictorial method, which we will now move on to. So the pictorial method is when they will get rid of the counters and they will learn how to draw them in the grids themselves. So we will start off with our 243, and this time they will draw counters. So I will need 2 hundreds, and I will need 4 tens, and I will need 3 ones. Again, if you want to encourage the children to write the value inside each counter, you can do so, as that can also help them to remember the value of each counter. We're then going to add the next amount, 368. So I'm now going to add my additional 300s. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to do my 6 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I'm going to add my 8 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, I would still encourage the children to count out their counters as they are drawing them, as this will help them to not get confused with the counters that they already have. So we're going to count our ones now, and we're going to see if we have 10 ones, we will need to exchange them and put them into the tens column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a circle around my 10 ones to show that there are 10 of them. I'm then going to draw an arrow into my tens column to show that I now have an additional 10. I have now only got one left over. I'm now going to check my tens, and again, if I need to exchange, I will exchange into my hundreds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm now going to put a circle around my tens to show that I have 10, and then I'm going to draw an arrow into my hundreds column to show that is where I'm moving it to. Draw the counter to show that there is the additional 100, and now we can work out our answer. So I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hundreds. I've now only got 1 10 left, and I have 1 1. So my answer is 611. You will not move on to any other stage until the children are confident within this pictorial method and to ensure that they understand how to move the tens into the hundreds column and your 10 ones into the tens column. Once they have grasped this method, you will then move on to the abstract method. And the abstract method is also known as the written formal method, and some children will also know it as the column method. And you will have to remember that you will need to line up your digits correctly in your book. So, to start with, you may encourage the children to write hundreds, tens, ones, so they can identify the columns that they are going to put their numbers into. So, I'm going to start off with 243. So when I've got 243, and I'm going to be adding 368. This is where I will need to make sure I line up my digits correctly. So I will need to know that my 300 goes in my hundreds column, my 6 tens goes in my tens column, and my 8 ones goes in my ones column. You will then need to make sure that you draw your equals box to show where your answer is going to be. You will also need to show which symbol we are adding, so we will need to make sure that we write our addition sign so that the children will understand that they're doing addition and not subtraction. We're now going to work out our answer, and we will need to make sure that we always start with the ones in case you need to exchange into your tens. So first we're going to do 3 add 8. You could also do 8 add 3. Some children will automatically put the larger number in their head and count on. So we've got 8, 9, 10, 11. So and then you will put 1 there, and we've got our additional 10, and this is where you'll put it underneath in the tens column, underneath your answer box. You will need to encourage the children to remember to add that additional number when they are counting. Next, we have 6 add 4. Most children by this stage will automatically know that that is their number bond, and it will add up to 10. If not, they will carry on. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't forget the additional 1. Add the 1, you will get 11. So you put the 1, and then this time you will carry your additional 10 into your hundreds column. So now you need to add up your hundreds. Again, also remind the children that they need to add the additional 100 underneath the line to get the right answer. So you have 2 plus 3, which will give you 5. Add that additional 1, will give you your 6. So you will have 611. If the children are not understanding this abstract method and using this formal way, you will need to go back to doing it pictorially or using the base 10 concrete manipulatives. Do not move the children onto this stage until they are secure and understand the other two methods first.